I know why you're here. You like harmonicans. I love harmonicans. I mean, I would help with it, so of course I love it. We're gonna talk about harmonicans and how I helped write one of the pieces of music that was going to be in the game at some point, and that was the credits music. So we'll get right into it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to do with the credits theme initially was to do a medley of all the tracks that would be in game, and I was wanting to include the theme song that I was writing for Raw Zebra, and this is what it sounds like. As I thought about it, I didn't have a lot of time at the time of making this. It was last November, October, I believe. I didn't have time to make a full 6-7 minute medley. And I decided that I would just stick with a reimagining of the title screen theme. And one of the things I wanted to do with it was make my own melody. I loved this was Zebra's original melody here. But I wanted to have a go at writing my own flair on it. And so I decided to do what I've done for years, write new melodies over pre-existing pieces of music. And so I had this piano to start with. So I messed around, and this was, I think, what probably took the longest in terms of the writing was to come up with the melody here. One thing I was thinking about the most while writing this was leaning into a video game sound and making it sound fun, and Nintendo music always is my first choice of inspiration. And specifically for this track, New Super Mario Bros. Wii was my biggest point of inspiration. And I can't pinpoint really a specific track except for the vibe of the game overall. Did I say Wii or Wii U? I meant Wii U if I said Wii. I feel maybe the title screen for that game, the world map music, especially this section, I felt was very world mappy or title screeny. And this recorder, oh, that's the wrong one. Especially this harpsichord recorder is very Nintendo-y to me. Something else that contributed to the Nintendo-y sound is the percussion. The shakers very much feel like a kind of generic-y Nintendo-y kind of thing. Something I always try to do with my percussion is to shake up the 4 on the floor feel. The snap is very grounding. It's just on every other beat. Whereas the conga, the first snare hit is delayed ever so slightly. So I'll play it with the snap so you hear what I mean. So that second conga hit lands right on the snap, which is grounding, but the first snare hit is ever so slightly syncopated over a little bit and delayed, this first one. And I like to do that to help keep rhythmic interest in the piece, and that also helps things feel less generic in a world of very generic pop music. I feel percussion isn't very experimental in most modern pop. It feels very... We could do with more variation in pop music. Something that I always like to do very often when I'm trying to experiment with new sounds is I like to layer up my sounds. So I have 2 parts to the main lead here. I have this 8-bit type thing. And then I have this thinner leads type sound. It's more modern. But it sounded really cute. And together they sound like this. To give everything a bit more space, panned it to the left and to the right. And that's always recommended in mixes, to try to think about the spatial environment in which you place your instruments. Like if you were to imagine all of your instruments are being played by a band, where are all your band members on stage? And so that's something I think about. And usually like in terms of an orchestra hall is what I think about the most, because I'm like a big orchestra guy. There were a couple elements I kept in from the original as well, like obviously the grand piano, the synth lead. I didn't end up doing any vocal work because it seemed to feel more cohesive if it was all instrumental. Something else I wanted to touch on too was how I actually recorded the trumpet, because some of you listening might think it's real. It's not. It's not a real trumpet. As you may have seen earlier, it's just MIDI. I use Sample Modeling's trumpet. Pop it open in Contact here. Here it is. The way I make it sound real, like if you were to just take out all of the automation here, listen to how flat it sounds with no modulation. Real performances have so much like inconsistency and dynamics over time. And the way I do that is I have my MIDI keyboard. I always play in tracks live whenever I'm trying to get a realistic sound, and it's got a modulation slider, and so I'll play and then with my left hand modulate that slider. I did that with the trumpet as well as the sousaphone. And to add a bit more realism, I also programmed in these pitch bends. And something else that helps a lot is if you don't quantize your notes perfectly. And if you don't know what quantize means, that means just like snapping it to the beat. If you just leave it a little bit off, it sounds way, way, way more natural. But for something like a Nintendo track, generally everything is pretty snapped to the beat. So I do keep things more quantized in a track like this. Nintendo music also tends to use like cute little sounding instruments, like I think like shakers and bongos, congas, kalimbas. They use steel drums quite a bit as well, and so I kind of just threw all of those things in. If it sounds cute, it's Nintendo. If there's any kind of like techniques or anything you'd like to learn about, or like more of how I make more of my music, please leave it in the comments. I read and reply to comments. I love them. And also, if you're interested in working with me and learning more about writing music, I would love to work with you. I got my like email right here, and also it's in my about page. I don't have anything official set up just yet, but I would like to gauge interest. So please email me. I would love to start doing more of that type stuff. But I guess that's about all I really have to show here. It's a pretty simple track overall. If you like videos like this, I'll make more of them. I think this is something I could really get into. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all next week.